Good day children. Today in this video we will see what is direct object and indirect object. Let's start with direct object. So it is a noun or a pronoun. It follows an action verb. It receives the action of a verb. In a sentence, a direct object can be found by asking who or what about an action verb. Now let's look at some examples. The message reached the lawyer. The message is the subject here. Reached is the action verb. The message reached who? Lawyer, which is your direct object. Okay? His landlord is raising the rent. So, what is the subject here, children? His landlord is the subject. Raising is an action verb. His landlord is raising what? The rent. So, remember, a direct object can be found by asking who. The message reached who or what. His landlord is raising what about an action. These are your examples. Okay, in the first example, what did we see? There is a question raised that the message reached who. So your direct object is lawyer. The message reached the lawyer. His landlord is raising what? His landlord is raising the rent. Okay, so the rent is the direct object. James and Rachel served ice cream for dessert. So we have James and Rachel as the subject, which is a compound subject because there are two people here. Okay. Then we have the verb served. Okay. And what did they serve? The ice cream. So ice cream is the direct object. Okay. James and Rachel served what? Ice cream. So ice cream is the direct object. Now note, a direct object is never an adverb or the object of a preposition. For example, James walked his cat. Okay. So James is again a subject. Walked is the verb. And what did he walk? His cat. James walked briskly. So here briskly is an adverb. Okay, it's not a direct object at all. James walked briskly. So it's not a direct object. I say a direct object is never an adverb or the subject of a preposition. You cannot call it as a direct object. Okay, briskly is not a direct object at all. Okay, he walked to the store. Again, prepositional phrase where we are using the word to. To is a preposition. So what is that? To the store. Again, it's not an direct object. Only the first example is a direct object where the example is James walked his cat. Okay. So cat is the identify the direct object. Pause the video and then we will look at the answers. Now coming to answers. They give Sam a new car. So they is the subject here. Gave is the verb. Sam. Okay, what did they give to Sam? Sam is not the direct object. But what did they give to Sam? A new car. So a new car is the direct object here. Mrs. Harry offered the girls a cake. Mrs. Harry is the subject. Offered is the action verb. Okay, what did Mrs. Harry offer? A cake to the girls. Okay, so a cake is the direct object. My grandma always wishes me good luck. My grandma is the subject. What does she do here? Wishes. So wishes is the action verb and good luck is the direct object. What does she wish? Good luck. Okay. I bought it for my sister. I bought. I is the subject. Bought is the action verb. And what did I bought for my sister? I bought it. It in quotes. It for my sister. I didn't mention what it is, but I just mentioned it as it, the word it. So it is the direct object here. Okay. He cooked lunch for his parents. He is the subject. Cooked is the verb. For his parents. What did he cook for his parents? Lunch. So lunch is the direct object. Students liked my lesson on direct objects. So, students is the subject. Liked is the action verb. What did the students like? My lesson. Okay. So, my lesson is the direct object. Okay. Great. So, now we have the direct object. Now, let's look at the indirect object. So, it is a pronoun, tells to who or to what or for who or for what the action of the verb is done. So, these are the questions that is answered by indirect object. So, see the first example. Zaira bought a flower. So, we all know the answer. Zaira is the subject, bought is the verb, and what did Zaira bought? A flower. So, that is your direct object. Coming to the next sentence, Zaira bought me a flower. So, Zaira is the subject, bought is a verb, me is an indirect object, a flower is a direct object. Zaira bought flowers to who? To me. Okay. Zaira bought flowers to me. It answers the question who. Zaira bought the flowers. So, Zaira bought flowers to me. So, me is the indirect object here. Another example. Sarah showed the class her new glasses. So, class is your indirect object here. And glasses would be your direct object. So you would ask, Sarah showed her new glasses to who? To the class. So indirect object. Class is the indirect object here. Jeff gave Carolyn a chess set. So Jeff gave a chess set to who? To Carolyn. So Carolyn is the indirect object. And chess set could be your direct object. Okay. So Jeff is the subject, gave is the verb, Carolyn is the indirect object, and chess set is the direct object. Now, if the verb read and write are only followed by the indirect object, a preposition must be used. What do you mean by that? For example, please read to me. You can even say, read me the letter. So, the indirect object, me. Okay? Me is the indirect object and direct object is letter. Or, read the letter to me. And then you can say that me is the indirect object. The letter is your direct object. Okay. So, please read to me, read me the letter, or read the letter to me. All these three sentences are same. Okay. So, please read to me. So, to is the preposition here. So, me. To whom are you going to read the letter? To me. Okay. Me is the indirect object here. Read me the letter. Again, read me. Me is the indirect object. The letter is the direct object. Okay. Another example. She must write to her parents next weekend. Okay. She must write her parents an email. So, her parents is always an indirect object. Okay. And direct object is email. Or you can even say she must write an email to her parents where to right there is to her parents, okay, which is an indirect object. Here we have an important note. If there is an indirect object, there must be a direct object also. Okay, if there is an indirect object in a sentence, there must be a direct object. Okay, but however, you can have a direct object without an indirect object in a sentence. Okay, so let's do some exercise now. Identify the indirect object in the following sentence. Pause the video and try to answer all the questions. Then we will look at the answers. So now let's look at the answers. So have used the same question but with different names, that's it. But these are the same question which are used in direct object. Okay. So they gave James a new car. They is the subject and gave is an action verb. To who they gave the new car? James. So James is the indirect object here. And obviously you know what is the direct object? A car. A new car is the direct object. Very good. Mrs. Jones offered the girls a cake. Mrs. Jones is the subject. Offered is the action verb. The girls is the indirect object. A cake is the direct object. Okay. Mrs. Jones offered a cake to who? The girls. Okay. My grandma always wishes me good luck. Me is the indirect object here because my grandma always wishes good luck to who? To me. So me is the indirect object here. She gave her friend a book. She gave a book to whom? To her friend. So her friend is the indirect object. Sean gifted his mother a painting. Sean gifted a painting to who? To his mother. So his mother is the indirect object here. Hope you got all the answers correct. Thank you, children.